Pwede bang dito lang?
5 decades in the business.
I started at 8, now I'm turning 64. Kung sa bookend is 56 years of being an actor.
How do you separate the real you, katulad ng sinasabi nyo kanina, to the roles that you play? Is there one thing na may sinabi sa inyo ang isang director na to this day you will never forget?
Yeah.
Parang the consistency is the key
Also
to
the key.
longevity.
Very.
To career. Binasa ko yung story nyo. Taga Bacolod pala talaga kayo.
Yes. Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Ilonggo, certified Ilonggo.
Yes.
GI.
Ang
Genuine
galing.
Ilonggo.
So, doon nagsimula lahat sa Bacolod.
Yes. It started 1969. I was like 7, turning 8 years old, where I did my first play. We had a community theater group called Genesius Guild. Saint Genesius is the patron saint of actors. And sila Peke Galiaga, the families, my family, and family ni Tita June Rufino. We composed that Genesius Guild. Marami kami.
Ang nakadiscover po sa inyo, si Peke Galia.
Yeah, well, I owe my career, my craft, and everything to Peke. He honed my love for the arts.
Ano yun? Paano ho napunta dun yung passion nyo sa pag-theater, sa pag-arte, sa pag-perform?
They just needed a boy, and I was there at the right time and the right place for a very big role. I don't play all the way home, but before that, ang lola ko, may sinihan kami in Cadiz. It's 60 kilometers away from Bacolod. So every weekend, bumibisita kami ron. Ang bahay ng lola ko, ang katabi nun, was the theater called Ramona Theater, named after her. So that was my passion for the movies. Dun yata
Na-ignite.
Na-ignite. Tapos yung, kung napanood mo yung Cinema Paradiso, it's a movie that minsan ako nag-switch ng movie projector kasi dalawa yon.
Kayo gumagawa nun dati.
Oh, okay. There was a projectionist. Tapos sabi niya, sige na. And I'd switch. So, my love affair with the movies started that. Then, natuloy sa play. So, doon ko na-realize na, wow, sarap nito. And after the first play, I felt so at home. Gustong-gusto ko na, hinahanap-hanap ko na. And then, the succeeding years, Peke was experimenting because he was very young, a young director at that time. And every year, every summer yan, may play production kami, be it a big play like Fiddler on the Roof, Royal Heart of the Sun, or very small experimental plays.
Pero yung pelikula na napanood nyo, na naaalala nyo na, nung napanood nyo, sinabi nyo sa sarili nyo, ito ang gusto kong gawin. May ganun bang pelikula?
Nung napanood ko yung Maynila sa Kuko ng Liwanag ni Lino Broca, doon ako na sabi ko, wow, such a powerful film na it made an impact sa akin. And then I decided,
Paano kayo napunta ng Maynila? From Bacolod?
from Bacolod, si Peke was already directing Champuy, the gag show. And ako, I fresh graduate. Before that, estudyante pa lang ako. During sem break or during mga breaks namin, dinadala niya ako rito to check out what showbiz is like, kung anong talagang test the waters. And nun, ano ako sa Champoy, production assistant. And then I applied nung nag-graduate ako. I graduated mass comm, tapos may isang course pa ako na marketing. May one sem, dapat double major ako. Nung nag-graduate ako mass comm, nag-apply na ako, Pex, I wanna work for Champoy, as a production assistant. I said, sure. And on the very first day of our job, natanggap niya ang news na ang script niya nanalo sa Experimental Cinema of the Philippines, which was Oro Plata Mata. By fate, thank God, right time, right place. I don't think I designed it myself. It was just
Orchestrated talaga na ito yung magiging trajectory ng buhay nyo.
But I'd like to believe it that way now, that if I look back,
Nakaayon lahat nung time na yun.
Grabe. I started at 8, now I'm turning 64. Kung sa bookend, there's 56 years of being an actor. And I love it. I love my job. So let's look at there's two sides to me, the real me and myself as an actor, which sometimes it just overlaps. No?
Oh, pag kasi katulad yung isang magaling na aktor,
Wow, magaling.
paano nyo nahihiwalay yung the real you and the roles that you play? Ganun po ba kayo?
Yes, well, designed from the method. The artist is only as good as the person. So you have to bring yourself into the role. It's the magic. What if you were like Jose Rizal, educated, well-traveled, and so ilagay mo rin sarili mo dun and your experiences or your mga pwede mo substitute na you love your country, of course. So ilagay mo rin sarili mo using these traits.
Grabe yung trivia ng pangalan nyo. You're named after Jose Rizal.
Yeah.
So your full name is?
Jose Rizalino de Leon, named after Jose Rizal, Centennial ni Rizal. He was born June 19, 1861, and I was born June 19, 1961, exact 200 years.
And then you played Jose Rizal. Parang...
Manifestation ba yan? Law of attraction. But I had this obsession to play Rizal, really. Parang, di ba, mga college kami, mga debate, sino dapat, si Bonifacio, si Rizal. Lagi ako nasa panig ni Rizal.
Kasi pangalan nyo, Jose Rizal talaga eh.
Oo nga.
Pero nung nag-stage kayo, Joel Torre na ang pangalan? Hindi
Well,
po.
that's my nickname. People call me Joel. I mean, that was my name. My original name was Jose Maria. In my birth certificate, baptismal, they changed it to Jose Rizalino.
How do you prepare for a role?
There are 4 ways. It's the mental, physical, psychological, and emotional obligations of the character. So, ako, in my script, if you noticed, and some people do, I have a lot of notes.
In your script?
Oo. So hinihimay-himay ko. So that when you go to the set, you're ready.
Most challenging role for you that you played?
Well, Jose Rizal was, no? With a director like Mike De Leon, who was very, buti na lang, years before that, pinag-usapan na namin Rizal, he was going to do a Rizal movie. So we went as far as Banahaw, sa mga Rizalistas during the 100th anniversary of Noli Me Tangere and all that. So I was channeling really Rizal and very difficult to work. I mean, for the character for you to adapt it. Batang West Side, the one of Love Diaz, when we shot in New York for 8 months, I was on the job as a hired killer. And of course, my very first major role was sa Oro Plata Mata, where I was a boy of innocence, metamorphosized because of the war into an animal. I mean, yung hayop din ng tao dahil sa gera.
You did a movie last year.
Lolo and the Kid.
And the Kid.
Yes. That was directed by Benedict Mike, the guy who directed this movie that we are doing now, Isolated. Yes, it's very heart-wrenching because relationships, it's about family. Although they're not blood family, pero it reminded me of the very first movie na iyak ako when I was 7 years old, yung All Mine to Give. It's about these orphans and the eldest brother was giving away his brother, his sister to families during Christmas Eve. So, paglabas ng mga tao, sila mugtong-mugto. So, it's the same. And I think it's very universal. We're thankful for, sabi nga ni Direk Benedict, it's very difficult to make a simple movie. It was a very simple, it was, the plot was about this bond between the grandfather or the Lola and the kid. Number 1, would you believe, in Peru? I mean, Peru, how don't know the Incas, pero siguro yung kultura natin pareho, we are under Spanish, and so ang title nila, Abuelo y Kid, which is Lola and the Kid. I love that movie so much, and parang ngayon, kids would go up to me, si Lolo. And parang may resurgence ng career mo Now I have 5-year-old, 6-year-old fans na which para sa mga bata, and di ba yung
Yeah.
suspension of disbelief. Magic.
So after that, ginawa niyo yung Isolated with the same director.
With the same director.
The
And
movie that is going to show now.
on April 30, Isolated.
Bakit siya Isolated?
Because we work in a very remote place. I play a retired U.S. military man. And sa retirement niya, nagpagawa siya ng resort. Pero it was a failed resort because it's too far flung. Ang layo, wala na. Tapos nagkaroon siya ng dementia and Alzheimer's, that he needed a caregiver. Maraming kababalaghan na nangyari.
Sa 5 decades nyo sa paggawa ng pelikula, na-experience nyo na yung transitioning ng set, ng film, to digital,
To celluloid, to digital,
to cinema, to streaming.
Correct.
Iba-ibang platforms.
Different medium ng the medium is the message. What I'm really very grateful about, nagpapasalamat ako sa Diyos, was working with the greats, no? You've worked with all these directors from Eddie Romero, Lino Broca, Ishmael Bernal, Peque Galiaga, Mike De Leon, Marilu Diaz-Abaya, Loris Gideon, Chito Ronyo, Mario J, until Antoinette Hadauni, Eric Mati, Richard Somes. That whole gamut, it's about the weight of the artists that you work with. And most of them are national artists, di ba? And wala na sila. Some of them are gone, which yun ang siguro isa sa pinagmamalaki ko sa career path ko or sa body of work ko that I've worked with. May kaibigan ako na Japanese, he's also a director. I did a movie. Hey, you should write a book. You should write something. No, I'm not a writer. I said, no, but you should talk about it. Your experiences working with the greats, working with this, and you're right, on different eras. And, even for actors, I've worked with Manuel Conde, the father of June Urbano, until si Ewan Miquel, itong sa Lolo and the Kid. So, parang napakalawak din ang pala.
Ng experience. What do you love most about acting?
Is making it right. You have the full focus on the scene. Tapos, when you get it right, na yung pinaka-fulfillment ko ng actor, you hit it, you were on a roll, and once I do that, hindi na ako nanonood ng playback because I felt good. Getting there is hard. It takes discipline, it takes hard work, it takes a lot of focus. You're on the set of 200, pero you getting that emotion, yung focus, pinpoint, laser beam, and once you get it, yun ang accelerating para sa atin.
Fulfilling.
Correct. Mahirap din because that's a lot of pressure.
It sounds easy talking about it, but once you're in it,
The discipline, the energy, ang pinaka-saving grace mo nun dyan is you have to enjoy it. Sabi nga going back to, you have to love your job. So you're there in midnight, under the stars, under the moon, and you're working this heavy scene. I said, can't imagine myself, I'll be in an office room. Pero be thankful na this is my office. Ito yun, so don't complain. Go for it. And it's about your attitude siguro and for the love of the arts.
Is there one thing na may sinabi sa inyo ang isang director na to this day you will never forget?
Yeah. Si Peke. Because si Peke really honed me. Sabi niya, if you go all the way. There's no turning back. There's no halfway point. Dire-diretso. You give everything to it.
What's the biggest frustration of an actor para sa inyo?
Seriously, yung ginawa nila sa States na residuals and yung mga royalties, we don't have that. PhilSCAP has that. The music industry ng Filipino artists, they get residuals. Para sana sa atin, kahit it's small amount lang.
Of royalty?
But of royalty, because that's your intellectual property. So there's this group of performers, Philippine Society Performance Rights, that we're working on it to get at least residuals, no? I mean, they've been playing it on Netflix every now and then. We don't get a single set of our body of work. Paski ano lang,
Yes, kasi sa Friends, di ba, when they play the sitcom,
meron
yung cast
sila.
meron pa rin
Meron pa rin sila.
nakukuha.
Sabi nga nang
Yes.
I've worked with John Sayles, who's an American director, no, yung sa Amigo. Nung nakita niya yung sa IMDb, wow, if you were in the States, you'd be a very rich man. Kasi sa dami ng
With
trabaho.
all the royalties.
With all the royalties. Sana magkaroon not only in this generation, sana yung mga next generation magkaroon. They should be compensated for their art. Kahit maliit lang yan, pero if it's accumulative, malaki rin yun.
What's the hardest part of being an actor?
The commitment. Once you're into it, the hardest part is you're very hard on yourself. Na pag hindi mo nakuha, yun talagang ang frustration. Hindi ako minsan makatulog. I usually ask for another take. Kung pwede, balikan natin kasi it's very frustrating. You go home, you didn't deliver. Yun ang pinaka mahirap sa akin. Of course, and the discipline of working long hours, especially for senior citizens like us. Yeah.
How do you balance your personal life and your work life, your family life?
First, I balance myself. Yourself, your me time, your own time. Kasi kung hindi ka balansyado na tao, which sometimes we are very erratic.
Kasi when you do teleseries, pelikula, sometimes back-to-back, it's very demanding yung time.
Nung bata-bata ako, kaya ko pa. Pero ngayon,
Lagare.
So, kailangan yung time management, but at the same time, it's the focus. It's the quality time. Even in my business, we do meeting. Sabi ko, I'll just do meeting 1 hour lang para that's how much I can, para yung focus natin. In shooting, inaano ko muna yung trabaho sa bahay ka lang. Pag nasa bahay ako, walang trabaho. This is my luxury. Makatulog ako ng like 24 hours without doing nothing. Ano na yan, parang bakasyon na yan with myself. So, it has to start from you. Mm-hmm. And with family, my kids are, empty nest na rin kami. One is married and one is getting married. So, I'm so proud of them. Pinalaki namin sila na maayos. Wala kaming problema sa kanila, thank God. And yung isa nga actress, yung isa visual artist. She designs graphic artist for JT's, mga logo namin.
Paano nangyari yung JT's Manukan? Una kong nakita yan sa tapat ng Sampaguita.
Correct. Which was the guardhouse of the Sampaguita Studios before.
Tapos,
sabi ni Tita Gloria,
ang laging sinasabi, pag dadaan kami dyan, si Joel Torre may-ari niya.
A hole in the wall.
Yes, nung nasa Itbulaga ako, pagka dadaan kami. Pag dadaan po kami, di ba doon ang Broadway Centrum? Sabihin, Joel Torre yan. Joel Torre may-ari niya.
Nagpapadeliver pa nga kayo doon.
Yes, sa Broadway.
Sa Broadway. Yung mother ko, we're a family of 13, no? So every time she feeds us, she's a terrific cook. Before, chefs were fashionable, she was already, like Bacolod knew her. So that's why ang daming families in Bacolod nagpapakater sa kanya.
Paano yung idea na, sige, magbubukas ako ng JT's Manukan sa Manila? Paano naging doon ang first branch?
Okay. Ang kwento niyan na I wanted a fallback position because I was like 40, I was 41 already. Sabi ko, hindi ko na kaya magpuyat sa mga shooting. Kailangan may tayo, a fallback position, may negosyo tayo, sabi ko sa wife ko. And we thought about restaurant because food was also my passion. Because I grew up with my mom, I was her mascot. Tapos, meron na kaming cook, meron na kaming wala kaming lugar. Buti na lang si Jimmy Fabregas. That place is owned by the mga Vera Perez, may-ari ng Sampaguita. Sabi ni Jim, si Kokoy, may space siya. So when I looked at it, sabi ko, perfect. Not knowing that place pala was the guardhouse of some Pagita picture. Sabi ni Tita Gloria Romero, ay iho, itong guardhouse namin. Dito kami pumapasok before. So there's a history.
Iba yung pag-aartista, challenging yun. Pero iba rin yung pagbubukas ng business.
Oo.
Ibang challenge din yun.
Very, every morning. When I wake up, one of the first things I do is to pray and be grateful. I always say, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. You have to have the right formula for it. I don't know what, or basta, your food has to be good. I think that start from there.
The quality dapat hindi nagbabago.
So that's what we hope to achieve. Even in acting, the consistency na you try to be as consistent as possible.
Parang the consistency is the key
Also
to
the key.
longevity.
Very.
To career, to career, and to business.
And
You
to
have to be
anything,
very consistent, even in marriage.
Yes.
Consistency is the
And
key.
is the key. And also quality. It's not the quantity of time, it's the quality of time.
Quality.
You know, it's the quality of friends. There's no substitute for quality, I guess.
5 decades in the business.
56 years.
56 years. If you look back, what do you think is your biggest accomplishment?
Where I am right now. We come from nothing, then we go to nothing. But yung achievement mo with the family, with the business, your drive for excellence, you go the way hanggang saan mo kaya. I'm really proud na out of nowhere, out of nothing, because of the arts, you create something and this has become you. What you've become from, let's say, the child is the father of man, no? Sa psychology. So nung bata pa, siguro na-instill na sa akin na you have to strive for that.
What's your advice sa mga aspiring young actors trying to get into the business?
You have to love your job. First, invest in yourself. Invest in your craft. Invest in everything na sa sarili mo muna. Mag-aral ka, get all the experience you want, go to workshop. Yun ang sinasabi na invest in yourself. Mag-exercise ka, mga bata-bata ka. And you have to love what you're doing. Once you decide that's your art, that's your vocation, that's your craft, that's your life. So if you're given a chance, go for it. Huwag mo nang sayangin, di ba?
Thank you very much, Sir Joel, for
Thank
this
you.
conversation. Marami
Thank
pong
you.
salamat. Opo.
August 30 pala may showing kami, Isolated with Yasi Pressman.
Yes.
Under Viva Films. Sana manood kayo. From the makers of Lolo and the Kid, siya rin ang director. So under Lone Wolf Production.
Cinemas.
April 30, it's a date, Isolated with Yasi Pressman. Thank you.